All right, hello Programming 12. We are going to be taking a look at making buttons into objects. We talked about before how user interfaces, graphic user interfaces, was one of the main reasons why object-oriented programming was invented anyways. All these like buttons and menus and things that you click on with the mouse would be tedious to program manually for every single little thing you wanted to put into an interface. Think about an operating system like Windows, all those icons and things. It's just, what a tedious thing. So they're all very similar. All buttons are similar. They have the same kind of code, and we put them into functions before, and that was great. Now we're going to put them into a class. The thing that's great about putting them into a class is that it's going to contain all the stuff that buttons need in one place, and then we'll be able to mass produce them. So in this video, we're going to go over the button class. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then you're going to attempt to create the buttons yourself. So I'm showing you the button tab, where we have all the good stuff here. We'll go over in detail, what that is all for. And once you have understood that, then I want you to go and write the void setup and void draw to create a bunch of buttons and make them clickable, make them do stuff. So here's the story. This is the button class, and I'll introduce you first of all to the instance variables. There's a bunch of instance variables. These are for rectangular buttons, by the way, and making a circular button class might be an interesting exercise, but we'll start with a rectangular button first. So this is the location of the button, and by the way, the X and Y is going to be the center of the button. We're going to assume, maybe I should spell it Canadian. I'll spell it American because the code is that way. We're going to assume that we have rect mode center turned on. So please do make that happen in your main tab. I might actually turn it on here manually. I do, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But rect mode center will change the way that rectangles are drawn. This is width and height. So that's just the width and height of the button. This is a Boolean variable, so it's either true or false if the button is being clicked or not. And then we have some colors. So this will be like what the button's color is normally, and then this is what the highlight of the button is. When you mouse over it, what color does it change to? Last but not least, we have string text, and that is a label of words that will be on the button. So if I was to run this sketch and you wanted to see what it looks like, eventually you'll make something similar. We'll take a look at this black button here. Whoa, it's black. So right now its X and Y coordinate is, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's over on this side. It is got a width and a height, and it also has a Boolean variable that keeps track of whether it's being clicked or not, which is currently false. I'm not clicking on it. It does have a highlight color, which is white, and a normal color, which is black. And then it has the string text, which is the word black, B-L-A-C-K. And you can see that other buttons have sort of different values, but we've created all these buttons from the same code. So hopefully that explains what the highlight, the normal, the text, the X and Y, all that kind of stuff is. So here's our constructor. So we have to send it the following information and send it in this order as well. We have to send it over the text, the X, the Y, the width, the height, the normal color, and the highlight color. These are the parameters, and the reason why we have like funny names here is just to differentiate them from the instance variables. These parameters are variables that are capturing incoming values from our setup or wherever it is we're creating these buttons. So we just gave them names so they don't conflict with X, Y, width, and height. I didn't know what to call another version of X. So a standard sort of thing that some programmers will do is just put an underscore in front of the parameter variable just to differentiate it from the name of the instance variable. There's other ways of doing it too, but I don't want to get too much into those details right now because I want to focus on the design of this class. So you can see that we're just creating this button to have sort of whatever values we send it. And that's going to be your job. You're going to be calling the constructor in the main tab to create these buttons. So you have to know what order to send the information in and what sort of things to send it. All right, so now we have our behavior functions. We have the show function, and we also, that's basically all we have. We just have the show function. Its actions are all kind of tangled up inside of the show function as well, which is basically to highlight itself. Because you know what? That's mostly just like showing. That's what it does. So we have ourselves, first of all, the rect mode center. We talked about how that's going to be the default for our rectangular buttons. And the reason why we're doing that is because I want to line my text up nicely with my button. And it's just hard to do if you don't use rect mode center, because the text align is going to be center. I'm not sure if I actually put that code in here. I might have to include that. I might have it in my setup, but text align should be set to center as well. Okay, so anyways, we have some code for choosing the tactility of the button. And you'll notice that it's a little bit different than the stuff we did in our functions, because now our X and Y is not the top corner, it's the center. So we're going to be looking to see if the mouse is between half of the width on the left of X and half of the width on the right of X. That's why we're subtracting width divided by 2 and adding width divided by 2. That's going to give us sort of the left and right edges of the rectangle. And the same thing with the Y. Sorry, I'll scroll over. It's very long. It's plus or minus half the height from the Y, which is the center. So we look minus half the height and below half the height to find those limits of where the mouse Y should be. And you know what? If the mouse is between all those points, then we fill with the highlight color. Otherwise, we fill with the normal color. I am choosing a black stroke by default for all of the buttons with a stroke weight of 4. You could argue whether that's correct or incorrect. You can always change yours to be different. But then I draw my rectangle, so I will be filled with the correct color, and I'm using X, Y with the height. And I don't know, I made a rounded corners because it looked pretty. This number is hard coded as 30, and it's maybe not the best choice to hard code it. I think it might be good to sort of scale it depending on the size, but I'm going to leave it like that for now. Feel free to adjust and adapt this button to make it better. Okay, so next we got text align. So now we want to put the label. So I guess I already did text align, so I don't really need to add it here. So we have text align, and basically we're going to choose if we're going to stroke or fill it with the normal color or the highlight color, and it basically needs to be the opposite color. And you'll see I have some repeated code here. Ooh, look at that repeated code. Not good. The reason I'm repeating the code is because I need the opposite to happen for the fill here, but I bet we could come up with a better way. I bet we can come up with a better way for that. We could turn this into a function itself, and then I think that might be good. I don't know. There's a bunch of slight improvements that we can make to this button class that I think we'll make as a small little project. A few things you can add in for that checkpoint. So yeah, let's fix this. Let's fix this ugly repeated code. So anyways, we have basically choosing the opposite color for the text so it shows up. Again, if I run it, you'll see right now the text on the black button is white, and when we mouse over it becomes black, but the fill of the rectangle switches. Yeah, makes sense. So that's why these are opposite from these. And then we just type in our text. I did a basic kind of scaling of text so that the text will change depending on the button size. And this works for short messages, so it's not really exhaustively tested if this is the right number or not. You can see it does an okay job for short labels, but buttons probably should have fairly short labels anyways. So yeah, it's okay. It's good enough. And then here's my text. Again, XY is the center of the button, and that means that's why I have, oh, I guess that means, I have the text line center, so it lines up. It actually doesn't quite get to the center, does it? It's a little bit off. This looks a little bit lower. You can really see it in the pink button here. It's a little bit lower. I don't know. Not sure what to say. We could always make some adjustments. Okay, so that's basically the showing of the button. So from here, you'd be able to probably, with this understanding, you could probably go and make a button in your own version of this sketch and see that it's mousing over. As you mouse over, it changes its color and so on. So go ahead and try that out and see if it works. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to make the button clickable, and that's going to be this this code here. So you'll notice we have a mouse released variable. This does not exist in processing. We're going to make this ourselves, and we're going to make a special function called click I think, that will control this. Basically, it's something that's not built into processing that would be really nice. A mouse released variable. We have a mouse released function, and we've been using that in our mode framework. Remember the color game? We had the intro clicks and stuff. It was all called from that. Well, now we kind of want to build in the mouse released into our class. So it'd be really nice if that was just a variable. We already have mouse pressed. Like if I type in mouse pressed, that's a built-in variable, right? It is true when the mouse goes down and false when the mouse is up. But what I want to know is, when is the moment when the mouse button is clicked and released? Then I know I'm clicking on the thing. So in the next video, we're going to go over that, and then we can finally use this bit of code, or understand this bit of code, and then you'll be able to start on the first part of a multi-part checkpoint. Okay, so come back in the next video. Feel free to get this stuff down, and hopefully that makes sense. Do ask questions if any of these things don't make sense yet. Okay, so we're coming back to explain this in the next video. Thank you.